Okay, well, it's 1 o'clock, so I'm going to get going here. So welcome everybody. My name is Matt. You know me. I'm the president of Galaxy Marketing Solutions. And a really winning action that we do is to do our best to make sure that everyone is really well educated in this whole world of marketing, so that we can really work as a team with everybody, because I don't think there's a marketing company alive that could just do it all on their end. You know, it's very much like a teamwork thing, because you're there on the ground in your office, and there's certain things that you can handle and control that we just wouldn't be able to. So the real successful thing is that everyone's on the same page, and the more educated, the better. And so that's why we started to do these webinars, just to create that, and get everyone just really winning and as successful as possible. So that's the basic theme of these. And so what I want to do today, I'm actually going to open up a large can of worms, and we're going to take up the whole subject of Google, which has a lot to it. So this webinar is a little bit experimental. I'm going to come in at very primitive ground level and walk through a lot of the Google products, and then I'd like to get your feedback and some of the stuff you may already know, some of it you may never have heard of, or there may be some things you want to learn more about. So I'm just going to dive in and cover a lot of basic things, and then I really do want to hear back on what you'd like me to elaborate on, because we could probably do whole webinars on each separate thing. And so anyway, that's it. I just want to dive into it, okay? So now we're going to switch to the PowerPoint, and here it goes. All right, so this is entitled The World of Google. So Google's a pretty large world. Do all of you pretty much use Google every day?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just kind of, now it's like the refrigerator, or, it's like, it's just there, and it's a data source for pretty much everybody. And so it's worthwhile knowing a lot about it, because they actually offer a lot of cool things that are free, and I'm going to get into that right now with some slides. So basically, there's a lot of value in Google, because they are so prominent. They're the #1 search engine. People go there for just about everything. So the more Google-related things you do, the more of a footprint you leave on Google, and the easier it is for you to come up in search engine rankings. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. So why is Google important? So it's the top search engine on the planet. It has other services it offers for free that will help you be seen and found on the Internet. And one thing that's not everybody knows is that in 2006, Google purchased YouTube for $1.65 billion. So YouTube is actually integrated with Google. Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You may totally know some of this stuff already, but some people don't. And then, so if Google is #1, what is the second largest search engine?
Yahoo.
Any guesses? What's that?
Yahoo. Yelp.
You might think so, but here may be a surprise for you. It is YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, people search on YouTube for stuff like the best pickup truck, and watch a video on it or whatever. So it's actually, YouTube is owned by Google. So Google actually owns position 1 and 2 in search engine. So Google is your friend. The friendlier you can be with Google, the more juice they're going to flow you, the better you're going to show up on their search engine rankings and so on. So let's walk through a few things here. So you want to be fully set up on Google and take advantage of its services, because they all link with each other and will help you get seen and found on the Internet, which is pretty huge these days. And I repeat myself a little bit in these webinars, but there's certain key things that I just really want to drive home. And one of them is that just the power of the Internet and being found on it is super important. And but so is direct mail and other actions. But what we encourage is sending out postcards so that people get a physical thing in their hand. There's sort of like no substitute for getting a real tangible postcard in their hand that they can pick up and read and look at. And then it's a real live thing. It can be set down and picked up by somebody else. And But at the same time, it very often will drive people to the internet to find out more about you. So you really have to, it's like a 1-2 punch, really good direct mail and then really well represented on the internet. All right, so let's carry on. So today we're going to really start from square one. So I wanted to find out, do you have a Gmail account for your practice?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because that's really step one in getting set up and into the whole Google structure. So you want a Gmail account because from there you can set up a Google Plus account. Are you guys familiar with Google Plus?
Yeah.
Do you have a Google Plus account?
We do, yes.
Yeah, we
Okay,
do.
good. Great. Do you use that? Like, do you put content on it and work it?
Yeah,
Yes,
well,
we do.
patients can actually
Okay,
go
perfect.
directly to it and leave reviews. So.
Oh, good. Good. And then, are you familiar with this thing called Google My Business?
Vaguely.
Okay. So one of the things about Google is that they kind of constantly change up things, and so you have to kind of stay on top of it. And so what they did recently is they basically consolidated a bunch of things into Google My Business. And what that is basically a consolidation of Google Search, Google Plus, and also Google Maps. So for those who don't know Google Plus, I'm going to quickly walk through it. Is there anyone who doesn't know Google Plus who's watching? Okay. I'm going to quickly walk through this just to make sure I don't miss a step with anybody. So Google Plus is Google's answer to Facebook. It's a social network where you can find friends and meet new people who share common interests. And an important thing is that posts to Google Plus are indexed by Google and can help your search engine ranking. Now I wanted to take up this term index. Are you all familiar with what it means when Google indexes? Okay, let me go over it a little bit. So obviously Google is massive, and the amount of information that they handle on a day-to-day basis is like mind-numbing. So they actually have, within their company, they have these computer programs that they call spiders, and they actually continuously crawl through the internet and look at what's there. And it's like they take stock of the internet over and over again. And that's called indexing. And what they do is they'll climb into a website, and they'll basically quickly go through each page, and they will give it some kind of ranking based upon how relevant it is, based upon a lot of different factors. And that basically leads to how good your search engine rankings are. It's how these spiders judge you, basically. And so there's a lot of things that those spiders look at. One of them is just the sheer volume of content you have under your name, right? So like if somebody posts something on Google+, it's within the Google environment, so it gets picked up by those spiders, and it gets logged as like, oh, wow, these guys are engaged, and they're, people are in communication with them. Google really rewards activity and like keeping things fresh. So when the spiders pick that up, that's in your favor, and it'll help boost your rankings on Google. So this is kind of the whole theme of today is like the more you can work within the Google framework, Google indexes all of that activity, whether it's Google Plus or Google Maps or other things you do, and it all helps your search engine ranking. Does that all make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, what is business? So Google My Business complements your existing website by giving your business a public identity and presence on Google. Information you provide can appear on Google Search, Google Maps, and Google+. So for those of you who are not plugged into Google My Business, it's actually very easy. You should just do a search for Google My Business, and it'll take you there to a page, and it'll just say, it'll just have a button you click, and you basically just enter the data of your business, and it'll make sure that you're visible on all the Google channels, like Google Maps, Google Search. It's a very easy step, but it's kind of like, today I'm kind of going over like square zero, step zero, like enter in the data you need to at the right place, and so you can get your fundamentals in. So I definitely, if you're not already plugged into that, I definitely recommend just searching Google My Business and just getting signed up and enrolled in that today, because that'll get the ball rolling on that. It's well worth it. All right. Then the other thing that is part of the whole Google environment that is really a big deal, and I've been talking about this a lot recently just because it's coming across as such a clincher, as far as like people making the ultimate decision to go to a dental office. It's that point of like, what do my peers say about this place, and what do my fellow citizens say? And that's in the realm of Google reviews. And I've been really pounding on this the last couple of weeks, so I'm not going to pound on this too hard, but I do, just for those who haven't seen my last couple of webinars, I do just want to hit on the key points. So here's an actual screenshot of a search I did. It's oral surgeon, Tustin, California. And these days you get the top 3 results coming up. And the top guy, I mean, when you look at this, like, out of these 3 people, who would you say is the obvious choice?
Jeffrey Lee.
Yeah. And, like, he's so much more on the map and so much more visible than anybody else that, like, he is the obvious choice. When you look at it, okay, he's got an average of 4.7-star reviews. He's got 99 reviews, so there's a lot of people that are expressing their happiness with him, which is huge. And then these other guys, in actual fact, are probably great dentists. But the thing is that they have not put the energy into, and take responsibility for getting the truth of their greatness actually properly expressed online. I'm sure they do great work and their people are happy, but they have to do that extra step of making their good works well known. And that's actually a definition of public relations, is good works well publicized. So it's kind of like, it's not enough just to do good works and to make people happy. I mean, that's good on a certain level and it's good for the heart and everything. But in terms of public relations and getting on the radar of your community, it's got to have that well-publicized element in there. So it's good works, well-publicized, and just a killer, great way to do it is by putting some energy into collecting up your Google reviews and getting those posted. So there's Jeffrey Lee. If we look a little bit, you can click at the bottom where it says More Oral Surgeon, and it gives you further search results, and he's still at the top there. And then there's other guys who really aren't doing anything. And then we have this guy who... he's off the launch pad. He has 5 reviews. And then we have the next real competitor is this guy down here who's got an average of 5. I mean, this is pretty killer. He's got 5-star reviews, 5-star average, and 49 reviews. So this guy's onto it, obviously. But you see there's a lot of real estate here. So, like, if you really worked on your reviews, you could really come in and take over that real estate and come across as the obvious choice.
Matt?
Yes.
I had a question. The Google My Business.
Yeah.
For us to go to that website, because we have a Google Plus account for our office, and we have a ton of reviews. If you go to that Google My Business, it doesn't affect your current account, correct?
Yes.
It doesn't create another account for you. It just links to the Google Plus account that we have now?
Yeah, it will kind of consolidate everything under a single umbrella.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So it's not, you don't have to redo things because it sounds like you're already cooking on your Google Plus, which is great.
Correct.
Yeah, so what it'll do is kind of consolidate it all.
Now, I have a question, too, because we did try to get all of our patients to go directly, whoever had Gmail accounts or Google accounts, we asked them to go directly on Google and leave their review there because it has to be an organic review. It can't be from a third party, like say you have a third-party company that, does all your appointment confirmations, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then they're going to, email them at the end of their appointment or text them, can you please, rate your experience?
Right.
So then when they do that, it goes to a separate website. It doesn't go on Google or Facebook or anything for everybody to see unless you actually put like a widget on your website or on your Facebook account. So what we're kind of running into a problem with that is that our patients are already leaving reviews through our third-party company who does that, but then it's not getting fed into Google.
Right. Yeah, no, I definitely understand, because so just to back up and kind of reiterate some of your points, like one thing that you can't do, I'm not saying you guys do this, but this is just for the audience at large, one thing you can't do is just set up a computer in your office and just say, hey, everyone leave a review, because Google will detect that they're all coming from the same IP address, the same computer, and they will actually discount those reviews, because they don't know if it's just somebody in the back room just cranking out reviews, so so the thing is that you have to have people leave legitimate reviews through their own accounts and from their own computer. So the most direct way to do that is to go into basically you go into Google Maps and you find the business, and then it'll give a place for the person to leave reviews. Now, I know what you're talking about. So you have like a third-party company that's helping to gather those reviews, and then they're showing up. Where are they showing up? Is it posted to your website?
Yeah, on our website and on our Facebook page, because we were able to install the widget on our Facebook page as well. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. And have you talked to them about how, because I would suggest two things. Either you could talk to them about how, just bring it up and say, hey, we really want to get these actually on Google reviews because it's directly going to affect our search. Have you reached out to them on that point and see what they can do for you? Okay.
I talked to them about that, and they suggested hiring a company who, does all of the web marketing and everything that they work with, because it actually has to be like a Google-supported company. Because there's a lot of companies out there that say that they can help with that, which they're not partnered with Google.
Right.
So it's very specific, but those companies cost a lot of money.
Yeah, so from our standpoint, one of the things that we've done is that we just start taking our patients' email addresses.
Yeah.
And then when they give us that review for Facebook, we copy and paste that review into an email to them that thanks them for giving us that review. And then we go on to ask them if they would mind copy and pasting their review into a Google review area, and we give them the link to go there as well. And then we also give them a $5 incentive, whether it's $5 for Panera or Starbucks or something else.
Yeah.
It really has encouraged them to take that extra step and do the work so that we get the Google review in addition to our Facebook review or whatever it is that we're working on at that time.
Right. Okay, good. Yeah, that's kind of what it takes to bridge that gap. So how is that going, just out of curiosity?
It's going pretty well. I mean, obviously we don't have 100% participation. Not everybody's going to go the extra mile. Yeah. But we have definitely noticed a tremendous increase in our Google referrals to this point, and a lot of it is those patients going through with the follow-through from the links that we send them in their email.
Yeah, okay, well, that's really good. I mean, that's a good sign, because kind of the good news of all this is like 99% of any dental office has got people who are really happy. They are happy. So it's really a matter of like the technicality of how you bridge the gap of getting them to express their success story and getting it so it's in a way that it can be published across the internet. So, I mean, the way you're doing it is definitely great. That's just kind of like a great hack, to just make that happen. The more we've been digging in on this, we actually have partnered with a company that has a whole automated system that facilitates that whole thing called Limelight, which I've been talking about. But at this point, I'm kind of going in on just the most basic thing, which is like, whatever you do, whether it's Limelight or doing it the way you're doing or whatever you do, definitely do it, because just those things are so pivotal, and particularly the Google reviews are huge, because if I go, you probably already know this, but like if I go and click on Jeffrey Lee, what comes up is this. And so you get advertising right on the search results page. Mm-hmm. You get a lot of advertising, and it's free. And it's virgin territory. So if you take actions like you're doing, which is pretty awesome, I think that's great. What you get in exchange for basically nothing is you get this whole advertising page, which shows photos, has all the contact data, and then it has the star rating, and then you even get some excerpts of what people have been saying. So what I had the realization of myself is that if it's properly leveraged, the Google search the search homepage, if you really work it like this guy did and like you're doing, becomes kind of like your new homepage of your website, because people may not even look beyond this, and that's kind of our goal with pushing the whole Google review thing, is like you come across with such an impact that, of course you have to have a website, but in many cases this may just be convincing enough that the guy, the person looking into it is just like, well, this person is the obvious choice, and there's really no reason to look further. He's the man, I'm going to do it.
Right.
Make sense?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And then also just to reiterate, because it's within what, in the computer world they call it an ecosystem, it's kind of like this whole environment. Because Google reviews are within the Google ecosystem, they also get indexed. The spiders crawl around and they find these reviews because they're within Google itself, and Google definitely rewards lots of reviews, and positive star ratings, so that pushes you up as well.
Right.
So there you go. So anyway, to reiterate, when you take steps to proactively create your Google reviews, it can position you as the obvious choice and cause people to choose you, possibly without even going to your website. So there you go. All right. Now, we've covered kind of a lot of ground, and this was a little bit of an experimental webinar because I wasn't quite sure where people are at in their understanding of Google and its different products. So I really kind of want to open it up for any other questions and get some feedback on what more you'd like to learn about.
Sorry, I'm thinking.
Yeah. Consider carefully.
Do you have any questions? We don't have any questions.
Okay, well, that's good. So now, so let me just broaden it then. So what do you do actually, what kind of marketing actions do you take right now?
In regards to Google?
Yeah, just like your whole marketing package. I'd be curious to find out if you don't mind.
We actually do use a company similar to Limelight.
Okay.
So it filters our reviews so that if there's anything underneath an 8, it doesn't show up. We're able to review if they're posting.
Yeah.
We can share those links with our patient to post to our Facebook page, post to Yelp, post to Google, or whatever social media we want. Plus, we have an internal marketing person that works our website and does Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, as well as an external marketing person who works with all of the surrounding general dentists to open contact for the office.
Yeah.
So pretty streamlined.
Yeah, no, that sounds really good. And then do you do any direct mail actions?
Yeah, we have in the past where we've, we do it in a few different ways. We definitely send out direct mail to patients who maybe have siblings who are thinking about getting treatment. So we send that kind of an invitation type thing. But we've also done direct mail to very specific zip codes in the area to try and get different demographics. And
we also work with the local Chamber of Commerce that do welcome packages to all new residents in the area, so they deliver our information to them as well.
And we've done the mass flyers and mailers that go out, like I always call them the junk mail flyers, where you've kind of got like a little bit of a bulk of coupons that come through. We've done those before in the past as well. Yeah.
No, that's really good, because there's sort of like an underlying law beneath all of this, which is just like the outflow creates an inflow. And so, really the more an individual or an organization communicates, it's really the more alive they are. And if you see some people that really work it, like some people are just, they're always outflowing and they're always on social media and they're just bang, 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 bang. These guys have a very high outflow and inflow life, and that's what it takes, and that's like even huge companies like Coca-Cola or Apple, like these guys they never stop and they never will, they're just continuously, and that's just what it takes. So the more channels, even like the coupons or whatever, the more channels you can market on, the better. So That's great. And then the other thing that I would actually add to it is, in analyzing what some of our really successful offices are doing, they also do some not-for-profit or like charity type of actions. Do you do anything like that in your community?
Yeah, I would say probably twice a week we have a different source of, really, the sky's the limit in this office. That's why I love working here. But,
yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, really, we offer our patients and just the community outright to come in and pitch their ideas for how we can help their organizations. And 9 times out of 10, we can help the organization. But we also do a lot of work in the schools, whether it's through donations or, we're trying to get in and do presentations now. So that really makes a difference.
And we use tracking numbers, too, so all of the marketing materials we actually put out there, we track it by the number that's on them to see how successful it is on a return.
Right.
Wow, that's really, it's great. Well, you guys have a lot of the key things in play, which is really awesome. And if I can, I just want to say a little bit more about the charitable actions, which those are really huge. And they can kind of, good marketing will definitely work on its own. And I've talked to doctors who, I've said, hey, do you do anything in your community? And they're kind of like, I'm busy, They don't really, depending on the size of their operation or whatever, they don't necessarily have time for it. And that's fine. And well-done marketing will do the job for them nevertheless. But really kind of the next level is like a selfless, this point of like selfless giving is really powerful. And it resonates with people. And, that's actually kind of what I'm doing with these webinars. Like, I want everyone doing great. It's like in all of our best interests,
Right.
Like if everyone does great, everyone does great, and what's not to like about that? So from my own experience, just, being on deck here for almost 3 years, like I've accumulated a lot of raw knowledge on how to do this well. So I wanted to start just relaying that to everybody because it's the education that's really the key and knowing what to do and what the proven successful actions are. And the office itself is a key player, like I said at the beginning. Like we can't, we could be screaming geniuses, and we can't do it all ourselves as like a marketing company that may not even be in your same town or whatever. Like we have to have you guys on your end, well-educated and doing things, and then the two of us together really, we can really get some motion going. But I digress a little bit, but what I really wanted to punch up is the charitable actions are really powerful. Not only are they good for the soul, but they really, maybe this is a weird word, but they really kind of marinate the area, which is to say they get you out of a state of non-existence and into being seen and being recognized as someone who cares about the community above and beyond any kind of profit or anything like that. Like you want to get involved, you care about the people, and it just is really like a show of character. And it just, that raw level of help, like unconditional help, is not only is it very personally satisfying, but it's very powerful, and people notice it. And, you do good, and then later when someone gets your postcard or whatever, like there's already a great rapport there, and people are going to give it very possibly many more notches of consideration than they would if you were just coming at it cold with like, hey, I'm the doctor and you should come and see me. It really creates a momentum there that's powerful. And that's what's known as public relations. Public relations is good works, which is charitable works, well publicized. So it sounds like you're already really onto that, but I just wanted to make that point for others who have been thinking about it or have not really looked at that. It can be a very powerful thing to add a lot of horsepower to your marketing efforts and get more bang for your marketing buck. So that's my speech about that.
Yeah, I think what's cool about the charitable action thing that we've been able to get into is organizations that come looking for things for their silent auctions. We contribute products that we normally give our patients to the charitable auctions. But then in addition to that, giving a coupon for free service here.
Yeah.
So it really gets us a new patient and puts us in whatever that community is that's doing the auction so that people are more able to see and more interested in coming in from that charitable action as well.
Yeah, no, it's so good. Not only is it just like a really kind, great thing, but like you're planting seeds and you're just becoming visible. Because really the only real barrier of any practice or small business or even larger business is that there's, getting on everybody's radar and coming out of obscurity to where you're really visible, and ideally you really assume that position of the obvious choice. So, and it's okay. Like you can care about people and not ask for anything in return, and then it's okay to ask to be paid. Like there's no shame in delivering good service and getting paid for it. But when you add to that the giving on top, it's a sweet combination that's pretty unbeatable. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on that. So I just wanted we're pretty much at the end of the webinar, so I just wanted to find out, I just wanted to survey whoever's listening, what are you interested in learning more about? Like what are you curious about, or what kind of value could I give to you?
I would be really interested in learning about other online marketing opportunities that don't include Google and Google Ads,
Yeah. So other online marketing opportunities that are not Google and not Google Ads.
And what are some organizations like in the area you would recommend doing nonprofit work with?
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is always best when it's like really from the heart and from your own purposes. So that's what we usually try to tap into first, is find out, you find out amazing things when you start to talk to doctors, like the things that are really dear to them, or, they've had a personal experience with something, a challenge or whatever in this organization and really helped out or whatever. So I would really, when you're dealing with an individual's own passion and purposes, that's always like the most powerful thing, because it's just there, they don't have to create it, they don't have to imagine it, it's just there. And if you can spark it, man, they're on fire, and there's a lot of horsepower that gets unleashed. So I would actually do a survey of your staff, and maybe even of your public, like what are the organizations that, or what are the causes that are really important to you, and get that data and just go to town, with that. I would just survey your staff and your public on that.
Mm-hmm.
How's that?
That's good.
Yeah, stuff, and then you're going to find the things that people are really on fire about, which is what you want. So, so there you go. Okay, is there anything else you'd like to know about before we wrap up?
No.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I know I'm talking a lot.
No, I love it. Carry on.
Do any of your successful offices have any success using Groupon?
Here's what I know about Groupon is I'm into trying anything once, as a pilot, to see if it works for you. This is what I know about Groupon, and I've used Groupon just as a private citizen, and I've done all kinds of stuff, and it's been fun. But with respect to a dental office, the caution I've heard on it is just that, the whole platform of Groupon is it's like cheap. You get it, you're going to get it cheap. So to that end, you're kind of possibly marketing to people who are looking for just like a one-time shot, come in and get one cheap service and then be on your way. Whereas what you really want to do is appeal to the people who are looking for dentists and who are, going to settle down with you as a patient and become a long-term patient. So that's kind of the caution I've heard. I don't know actually what it takes financially to get involved in Groupon. If you've got it in your budget or whatever, I don't think it ever hurts to give something a shot as a pilot, so you can have that real-world experience with it and see if you can leverage it to make it work for you. But that's basically what I've heard. Because, in the final analysis, like the target market for any dental practice is people who care about their teeth and are willing to pay for their dental treatment. Right. That's like the most primitive, statement. If you can reach that audience, starting from the very lowest rung of those people up to whatever, those are guys that can come on board and be great patients and really build a great practice. So you want to aim to those guys. And what I've heard about Groupon is you kind of run the risk of kind of undercutting that crowd and going into the crowd that's just kind of shopping around and looking for deals and they won't really stick.
Right.
But again, that's what I've heard. And if you've got it in your budget to give it a shot for a couple months or whatever, I think it's probably worth it to see how it plays out. A lot of people use Groupon, so I don't know. I don't know how helpful that is. It's a I would say if it's in the budget, give it a shot and see if it plays out for you. But there is that little liability of catching a bunch of shoppers that don't stick.
Right. One of the things that I heard about it was people concerned that using Groupon kind of makes you look desperate. Like maybe it's like out PR a little bit for.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that point. I mean, I've heard different people worry, it's funny, I've heard people be concerned that, well, if I send out postcards, people will think I'm desperate, or,
Right.
And it's a little bit of a false datum that I like to kind of strip out because, like, everybody has to promote, Apple promotes,
Right.
like, you know what I mean? And it's an interesting point that, not to get too philosophic, but there is a percentage of the population of planet Earth that tends to be a little bit suppressive and tries to stop people from reaching and expanding and flourishing.
Right.
And that little strata of people, one of their first areas of attack is the area of promotion and marketing.
Right.
And so that kind of like, by the equation of that, you can conclude that they must somehow know that effective marketing and promotion will take you to better states, So they better attack that and get you backed off and get you all self-conscious about it and introverted about it and like, maybe we should, fly below the radar and, I don't want anyone to think that we're blah, blah, blah,
Right.
So I would say, with respect to Groupon, the one thing is I would just offer your normal offer. And what we always suggest as an offer, I don't know what you guys have, but like when we do our postcard campaigns, we always go with exam, x-ray, and cleaning. Do you do that?
Well, we're an orthodontic office, so we use a complimentary consultation, which
good.
That also removes the worry of having that long-term patient, because if we can get them in the door and we can sell them on the one service of orthodontics, they're going to stay for orthodontics.
Right.
And past that, we don't do cleanings, we don't do whitening, so it doesn't really matter if they stay long term.
Okay, well that is a good point. That's a good point, and that's a bit of a unique case, because I know that's you guys are specialists, and that's great. And then just for the general dentist, which we service a lot of, we always go just for the audience at large. We always do exam, X-ray, and cleaning. Right. And just a note on that, like some doctors are a little hesitant to offer cleaning because they may be like, well, I don't have the personnel or it's a lot of work. However, like one thing I really rant about is that marketing is actually for the audience. It's for the public at large, and your message has got to be tailored to them. And you have to, when you're reviewing your own marketing, you have to have the actual skill. And it's a skill to actually wipe your own mind clean and look at the marketing from the viewpoint of the person receiving it. And like I cannot stress this enough, I have run into like several dentists who had very fixed ideas. Like I was reviewing the website of a dentist today who all he had on his website was actually pictures of equipment. And he's obviously very excited about this, and as a dentist it would be exciting to get some great equipment, and I'm sure he's proud of it, and that's not to make less of any of that. But it just like, it actually leaves the site very cold because all you see is machinery, and it's a warm and fuzzier type of activity. You want to elicit that emotional reaction and give people a warm feeling because that's really what's going to cause them to reach. So backing up, my point is when you, in offering an exam, x-ray, and cleaning, the power of that is that it's something tangible for the man in the street. Like, I've had doctors try to reduce it down to just an exam or just an x-ray. And if I get a postcard that offers me that, I'm really like, to be blunt, I'm like, who cares? Like, to me, that's just it's very fluffy, and I don't even know what I'm going to get out of this, and like, there's nothing tangible. But when people are offered a cleaning, they very often reach for that just because they're like, well, I don't know if I'm going to like the doctor or not, but at least I'm going to walk out with clean teeth, and I know I want that. So, further winding back to the earlier point of the Groupon is I would take whatever your most successful offer is and offer that. If the free consult is like your proven workhorse offer that gets people in the door, I would just offer that. And there's no shame in Groupon. Like, it's a workable thing. It drives business for people, and that's fine. And I was only going to say that if you, if we're talking about a general dentist practice, I wouldn't come in with some drastically reduced offer. I would just come in at your normal offer, which we usually say $99 or maybe slightly less for exam, X-ray, and cleaning, and just come in with your normal pitch and see if the Groupon platform will get you some people.
Right.
And that's my very long answer to that question.
No, it was a great answer. Thank you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Well, anything else since we're talking?
I think we're all set.
Okay, awesome. Well, listen, it's been a real pleasure. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just going to carry this on. So it's Wednesdays at 1 o'clock, and I'm just like on an education frenzy, and I'm just going to do my best to spill my guts about everything I know about dental marketing and really help everybody.
We really appreciate it.
Okay, you bet. So I'll see you soon then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.